Hey there, I'm Jeremy, and you've come to that part of YouTube where you might be wondering how the heck you got here. Together, with my beautiful wife and our best friend Brandon, we're about as obsessed with the arcade as anyone, specifically claw machines. So obsessed, in fact, that we've already bought 4 different machines and have them in our houses. When we're not playing at home, we record our journeys as we travel across the country trying to win as many prizes as humanly possible. We'll also show you how these machines work, what to look for, and how to win. There is quite a tempest in a teacup going on in the Magic the Gathering community. There's a coordinated assault to get me banned from the game currently. There it is again! It's the same look every single time. Brie Larson is boring.
I made various videos about Jeremy Harambe, aka The Quartering, mainly dissecting the ideology of his channel, but he mainly features in my videos where I'm taking a broader look at online nerd culture on YouTube and the reactionary politics of several of the biggest YouTubers who cover this stuff like Star Wars or video games. But I thought what would be interesting in today's video is talk about the origins of Harambe, the Quartering, talk about how his channel started. I also want to talk how he's sort of an extension of the heyday of skeptic anti-SJW YouTubers and how he was inspired by a lot of them, but as their channels have sort of declined or the people involved in them have shifted their politics, he has sort of filled the gap on the YouTube space because he now has over 1 million subscribers. And there are so many copycat channels now, like, popping up everywhere. So we're going to look at the effect he has had on the YouTube scene. And his style of content, which I feel is very lazy, has inspired a lot of other people. Before we go any further, edgier content on my channel is always demonetized. So if you want to support me monetarily, please check out my Patreon. Thanks so much to everyone who has already done this. At the moment, the benefits are gaining access to the private Discord server, and you'll obviously have your name featured at the end of every video and in the description. I'm working for some other benefits that will come in the future. If you want to join our growing community, please check out the Discord and the subreddit in the description. And if you want to follow me personally, check out @TheCavernacle on Instagram and Twitter. And also u/TommyCahill1995 for my personal Reddit. So with that out the way, let's get into the video. If you like the video and maybe subscribe to the channel, we're so close to hitting 25k. For every 5k, I get a new chocolate orange. Look, we have 4. Wouldn't you love to see a 5th one there? Probably not a white one because you can't get them anymore. But yeah, please support the channel if you can. So as part of the research for this video, I was looking into Harambe's history. Now, he's been quite notorious for a long time now, but what I didn't know until a couple months ago is that he started a channel called Clawstruck. Now, it's still up. You can still go watch his videos. I'm going to play you the trailer for the channel so you get the gist of what this channel is.
We'll also show you how these machines work, what to look for, and how to win. And when we're not clawing, we're going to show you how to win massive tickets at a ton of different arcade games so you can get that super sweet loot that you want. Need another reason to subscribe? We also do giveaways. We'll ship the prizes anywhere in the world. If you see us winning on this channel, we're probably going to give it away. Go ahead, become part of the Clawstruck crew, and get notified each and every time we upload a new super fun video by crushing that subscribe button today.
So compare that to what he is today. That's pretty wholesome. Going and doing claw machines with your wife and your friend, talking about, the technology behind it, showing people how to win. He seems more wholesome in that than he does now. And I know people will say, very nerdy or whatever, but I don't really care about that sort of stuff. If people have an interest in that thing and they want to watch it, which clearly they did want to watch it, his channel has decent views, it has decent subs. So I'll show you a quick montage of what the content looked like.
All right, well, we were about to leave, and I spotted a machine that is full of some of my childhood favorite candy. It's a candy claw. You're good at these.
But it's not.
You're good at all claws.
Both of those on here.
No way.
You said you eat it. No, you have to eat it.
All right, can you get them for me? All right.
Enjoy.
It's damaged.
Well, it fell. How's that in comparison to the...
They're very sour. It's good.
Oh, and
All right.
like slip through.
Let's see your prizes though.
And I won these guys together.
And that's,
They're brothers.
that's what we want.
They're
Yeah.
brothers.
This is a classic French fry shape. I feel like I got pretty lucky last time with those cups. No way. That's not staying. Say goodbye to your Sunday bar. Say goodbye. We did it! Yeah, you gotta eat it.
I'm gonna eat it, but I gotta
You want something, Brandon?
So again, he's more likable, more wholesome. I feel like he's actually contributing to society a bit better because he's making stuff that people like and it's a hobby people are into. Now, if you look at this channel, go look at it. It's called Clawstruck. There is no real evidence of this guy's politics. There's no, SJW freakouts or Brie Larson videos. There's none of that. But what this reminds me of is Classically Abby. So go check out my video on Classically Abby. And in the video, basically, I show the two style of content which she makes on her channel. One of them, her vlogs, where she just talks about her life, which seem pretty wholesome if she didn't have such toxic politics. And she comes across as far more natural. You can see why people might even watch her. And I feel the Quartering is in a similar boat here, because you feel like people would subscribe to Clawstruck for him, while with the Quartering you just feel like they're just subscribing to him because of the clickbait farm he makes and all these issues, and it's basically, I guess, fun for them to talk about how SJWs are taking over Hollywood or ruining everything. He's not very personable on the Quartering channel, let's keep it real. So let's get into the history of his rise as the Quartering. Now, he started off making videos on Magic the Gathering.
I put out a video on my main channel, which I knew was going to cause some waves, about some ideology-driven policies that were getting added to our Magic the Gathering judge program. Basically, affirmative action type stuff, which I'm a firm believer in meritocracy, and especially in a volunteer program like the judge program. A lot of things have been coming to light for me in the past couple of weeks, really past couple months, and it's the shocking similarities between what's going on in Magic the Gathering, how it parallels with a lot of the core issues of Gamergate.
Now, he was in this community for a long time. He's quite well known in this community. Apparently, he's quite notorious in this community as well because he led harassment of a female cosplayer. Really not surprising, considering what these anti-SJWs often do is target someone, sometimes people who are totally irrelevant, which leads to them getting loads of hate online. Now, I don't want to talk about this too much because I don't have loads of knowledge on the issue. I'm not in the Magic the Gathering community. But from the stuff people have said where he's basically been driven out because of his harassment, it does not surprise me based on his other content. But moving on from that, basically, this is where Harambe's politics started to show. So he didn't start off as just a nerd channel on the Quartering. It was always a very political channel. If you look at his early videos about Magic the Gathering, it's about things like forced diversity, SJWs ruining it. He also really loves Sargon of a card, and he posts multiple videos, either being highlight reels of Sargon owning people, or Sargon criticising other YouTubers, or people attacking Sargon.
For me, if it was just there and didn't really do anything, I wouldn't really be that bothered. But it does have a measurable effect on the media itself. It becomes different. I mean, you were showing me the pictures of the Magic cards, where, like, one of the bad guys is now a fat old woman.
Yeah.
Fucking terrifying boss, what are her stats,
Right.
And I feel like this is very relevant to bring up because I feel like his politics are heavily influenced by Sargon of Akkad. Now, most people on the left now realise what Sargon of Akkad is. He is far right, but back in the day, he used to be part of, the skeptics for anti-SJWs. Now, the anti-SJW movement was largely born out of like a new atheist movement on YouTube and atheist YouTubers who traded in atheism and criticising religion to criticising left-wing politics, and I've made a whole video about that as well, so go check that out, about how the skeptic community just switched from atheism to anti-feminism. But Sargon was one of these people. Now here's a quick clip of Jeremy attending a con where he met people like Armored Skeptic, Sargon and Shoe Head.
And I would consider myself more agnostic in terms of religion, so I wasn't one of the people that were there like solely as an atheist to talk to other atheists. I flip-flop back and forth. I'm still trying to formulate like my belief system strongly. That's the biggest reason I went. I wanted to hear a lot of different opinions so I could more confidently debate people and more confidently expand my breadth of knowledge. So I want to start off with some very basic review type stuff, okay? Tickets, $175, definitely not cheap. I paid, actually, check that. I paid for the VIP because I wanted to do the VIP after dinner because I wasn't totally sure I was going to be able to hang out and meet enough people at the actual event because I know how these types of things are. Sargon met with people, geez, you know, from when he got off stage until almost 5 o'clock. Shook every hand, took every picture, smiled for every picture, never seemed like he was annoyed. Greg and June took every picture, shook every hand, talked to everybody. They were hanging out in the public, the common areas. So that is, you know, I have to give these guys credit.
And he even says he paid for the VIP pass. So I feel like Harambe clearly does really like these people, and he's clearly very influenced by these people, and he clearly found their ideas attractive back in the heyday of Anti-SJW YouTube. So it's quite fitting he's now carrying the torch for Anti-SJW YouTube. But why I say he's so influenced by Sargon of Akkad's politics is that he just seems to support any right-wing person, especially in the early days, like Tommy Robinson. He's made multiple videos on Tommy Robinson. If you're from the UK, I don't need to tell you what an absolute toxic guy Tommy Robinson is, what an awful guy he is, and this was during the period where he tried to paint himself as less radical because he left things like the EDL and everything. And he would go on Dave Rubin and talk about his issues and, you know, his upbringing. So not surprising Quartering made videos on this guy. But as his channel grows and grows, he slowly switches it up from Magic the Gathering and some, you know, anti-SJW politics to really focusing on SJWs and them taking over things like Star Wars or anything like that. So as people like Shoe Head switch their content to less reactionary anti-SJW politics to more left-leaning criticisms of liberalism and just general more left-wing content, people like Armored Skeptic change their content a tiny bit as well. Amazing Atheist has completely done a 180, and people like Chris Raygun have backed down from, you know, anti-feminism, anti-SJW politics as well. Not saying these people don't still exhibit traits of that stuff, but they're not like Sargon of Akkad. So it seems like the skeptic community really broke apart, where they all go in different directions, and the remaining ones who seem to resemble, for me, the real ideology of anti-SJW-ism, or whatever that would be, is people like Sargon of Akkad. But now, people like the Quartering have really stepped up to the plate, and they've taken on this mantle. So that brings me to his style of content. Now, I've always said the Quartering's videos are very, very lazy. I bet my life that he also has editors who do his video, meaning what he would probably do on a work day, so if he works 5 days a week, I assume he gets the stories ready, just links to articles, and then streams himself reading them, and then sends them off to an editor. Person edits them, and then he uploads them. So he probably works like maybe 2-3 hours a day on the Quartering channel, maybe a bit less. The impression you get from watching a lot of Quartering videos is that he is quite hesitant sometimes to put his political views across in terms of like a coherent argument. So for example, if you watch my content, they all look quite similar. It's all me just looking at the camera from this angle. I don't script it. It's me just talking, but I have my notes down here just to keep me on track. But I've got to formulate my argument while I'm speaking. I have to make sure it's very coherent. I'm not reading off a script. And I actually have to make sure my argument makes sense and has a through line, because I know I don't have an article just to read off the whole time. Of course, I do read articles as part of my videos from multiple sources, but that is just to enhance my argument rather than make my whole content about the article. But what these guys do is just read a couple articles, give offhand comments. So while his titles and thumbnails are extremely clickbaity, when you actually get into the video, it's pretty tame and he's not making a great argument. Again, he's just reading tweets and articles and making offhand comments about them. And this has started a trend of this style of content. Loads of people now do this. Now, I think there is some value to it, and I was thinking about my place in, you know, online content, left-wing content, and I was thinking, I'm not like that, but I do make a lot of videos. But I plan my videos a lot more, but they're not as, you know, well crafted as many other people's videos. So I feel like I exist in a sort of middle ground, so that's why I'm offering some criticism of this stuff. But what it allows these people to do is just look at the world through their own ideology and then just criticize everything. But they don't have to have a completely consistent style and argument. And the Quartering actually did used to make videos where he would just talk to the camera, more like my style. But I think he eventually realised that it's just more lucrative to pump the algorithm full of as many videos as possible. And if the content suffers, who cares? You get the clicks, you get people commenting, you get the outrage, and YouTube will promote your content, and that leads to more money for you. If I did what he did, I could make multiple videos a day. I could probably grow a lot faster. I could also make a lot more money. I just don't want to do that because part of why I do YouTube is because of the creative process. So Harambe has been notorious for a while. He's had this internet notoriety. The Quartering channel has been getting good and consistent views for years now. It has taken off a lot more in the last 1.5 years as he's passed 1 million subs, but he's been around for a long time. So when I talk about things like Brie Larson and he has a link with her because he's seemingly obsessed with her, I don't think that's made his channel. But what people did is around about the same time he started making videos on Brie Larson, and the internet realised they hated her in general for being a really, I guess, tame activist who just says, I just want more diversity in film critics. But other people realised this was popular too. So Geeks and Gamers and Josiah Rises. Now I picked these two because I've used clips of their videos before. They're also friends as well. But I feel like it's good to show you how the Quartering has had an effect in this type of YouTuber. So let's start with Josiah Rises quickly. So he has nearly 200k subs. The channel's doing pretty well. And what I always like to do with channels like this is go back to the oldest dated videos on their channel. So if you go back to his, it's like Game of Thrones prequel announced, has something about Billy Boyd calling Dominic Monaghan from The Lord of the Rings, has loads and loads of trailer reactions and videos about news stories and entertainment. Nothing is really too slanted politically until you get to the Brie Larson thing. So Brie Larson says Captain Marvel is an activism movie, and then I think what people realised with the Quartering making these videos is that they could also get on this gravy train. So Josiah also makes more videos about Captain Marvel, but his stuff still isn't that political until Captain Marvel comes out. And I think he's just jumping on the bandwagon from people like the Quartering, not just the Quartering, a lot of people. But this is where this guy Josiah starts making quite political videos. So SJWs attack fans for Captain Marvel opinions. Captain Marvel Rotten Tomatoes ratings bomb. Superman and toxic masculinity stream. And this one featured Geeks and Gamers. So you can see how this guy's content slowly transitions into the content which it is today, where he's talking about people being woke and SJWs, and making videos on Joe Biden and Ted Cruz, people running for president, Gina Carano, everything like that, talk about them cancelling conservatives. And this is how the grift really transitions from making harmless, maybe a bit wholesome nerd content, trailer reactions and reviews, to really, really political things and embracing these far-right politics embodied by a lot of these anti-SJWs. The only thing I would say about this guy is, although I think the whole ideology of these people is pretty harmful, I don't think this guy is actually the worst of them. I don't think he's as bad as the Quartering or his buddy, Geeks and Gamers, so we're going to look at him quickly as well. Also called Jeremy, because all the anti-SJWs are just made in some vat and pushed out for all of us to enjoy on YouTube. So you go back to his oldest video, Batman vs Superman DLC reaction, but then a lot of what he has is just other people making videos on his channel and reacting to trailers, and actually going out to Comic-Con and all these different conventions and making movies. I think that this guy, as a primarily Star Wars YouTuber, The Last Jedi made his content transition from nerd content, which is not extremely political to very, very political content. So he's talking about J.J. Abrams saying everyone who doesn't like The Last Jedi doesn't like women, talking about J.J. Abrams respecting women, talking about, feminism in The Last Jedi and everything like that, or Far Cry 5 and SJWs complaining about that allegedly. And then if you go back, he's also making popular videos on Brie Larson. So 2 years ago, 73k views, Captain Marvel, Brie Larson is trying to kill the MCU. So he jumped on that grift as well. And it's not surprising that as the quartering took off and kind of shifted from Magic the Gathering to anti-SJW nerd videos, people like this also did the exact same thing. And now, as many of you will be aware, their content is pretty indistinguishable from each other. Like, if you watch one of them, you're pretty much going to get the opinion of all of them. And they like to talk about, the woke, liberal, hive mind and stuff like that. But these guys seemingly can't criticise anyone on the right wing. The quartering, literally supports any conservative. These guys all voted for Donald Trump and stuff. And it's just amazing these guys can't criticise anyone on their own side. That's why maybe conservatives are stronger sometimes electorally, because they're not as divided and they all rally around to get power. Whereas leftists are more principled, so you do disagree with people. Like, I'm thinking about many leftist creators. I was thinking about the Young Turks driving home today, and I was thinking about Cenk's Neera Tandon tweet, and I was like, God, what the hell is he saying? And I like Cenk Uygur, I like the Young Turks, but I totally disagree with his tweets and loads of his stances on things like capitalism. But this is just the grift for these guys. They know it's popular. They know to go against anything on the right wing risks your money, risks your audience, so better not to do it. And let me just show you some of their videos quick. As you can see, just like the quartering, what are these guys doing? They are just reading articles and reacting to them. It's the laziest form of content, but it allows them just to sit in front of a computer, read an article for the first time, provoke some reaction in them, and just give some small amount of commentary. But politically, you'll never find anything profound. You won't even find a coherent argument. They're not really politically minded people in the sense that they have a concrete ideology they want to spread, and they want to teach you about economics, conservative versions of economics, and put out policies and stuff. It's just, SJW's bad, leftist bad, let's paint this massive hive mind of leftism, while we, as an actual hive mind, will all make the exact same videos, in the exact same style, on the exact same issues. So where do we find ourselves today? So the skeptic community, in my mind, has largely died out. Of course, you have popular remnants of it, but there isn't really this movement about, facts and logic against religion and stuff. Most of them who still exist have been pandering to the far right for the last couple of years, and there's no even pretense about them being anything other than that. Now it has really transitioned into anti-SJW culture is just far right conservatism. That's all this is. So people like the Quartering, Geeks and Gamers, and Josiah Rises all seemingly have very similar political views. And why I think this is even more dangerous than the anti-SJW skeptic movement, which I believe radicalized a lot of people into more extreme politics, is that these guys mingle in a lot of nerd communities that aren't explicitly political. So you saw Josiah Rises and Geeks and Gamers are friends, but Geeks and Gamers has also recently featured on videos of Star Wars Theory. Now, Star Wars Theory is one of the most popular Star Wars YouTubers, nearly 3 million subs. You start watching Star Wars Theory as a kid, maybe 12 years old, 13 years old. Then you start watching Geeks and Gamers, who has extremely political content and is indoctrinating you in a political ideology through talking about this nerd stuff. And then he also has a political channel as well. I feel like this is a lot more dangerous because the pipeline from something like Star Wars to very radical conservative politics is a lot more apparent. And I don't think there's any voices in the anti-SJW movement at the moment which are rational in the slightest. At least with people like the Amazing Atheist or Armoured Skeptic back in the day, there was some semblance of, rational argument. Even though I really didn't agree with it, they would try and construct an argument to convince you. Even Sargon of Akkad back in the day as well. While these new channels literally just talk about this nerd stuff with an extreme political view and put that political view on it, even if that means making up loads of stories. So I made a whole video about the fandom menace, and it just seems like they make up nearly everything they talk about. So I've said multiple times, I would hate to have a teenage son right now who would spend all his time online, because I think it's so easy to go down this rabbit hole, and it's so apparent what their politics are now. It's not even like the skeptic community where there's maybe a bit more variety in the voices. It's just like this really radical conservatism from America being imported onto the internet. And I think it's just so easy for kids, because you don't have critical thinking when you're a kid, to be really influenced by this stuff. And these guys are only getting bigger. But, you know, Josiah Rises about to hit 200k, Geeks and Gamers about to hit 300k, the quartering just passed 1 million. And in terms of nerd culture, I don't think there's many bigger YouTubers than these guys. And even when you do have someone like Star Wars Theory, who is a big, maybe more apolitical YouTuber, if he then collabs with people like Geeks and Gamers, it gives them more credibility, and it helps spread their audience to his audience. Anyway, that is it for the rise of the quartering and the re-emergence of the anti-SJW movement. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Please like the video. Maybe subscribe to the channel. Help get the new chocolate orange. If you want to follow me on social media, at @TheCalvinacle, Twitter and Instagram. If you want to join our communities, Discord and subreddit, all that stuff in the description. Please support me on Patreon if you can. I try and live stream 2 times a week on Tuesday and Thursday, so come and join that if you're interested, and if you made it this far, thank you for watching.